Don't ever be afraid to speak your truth. Welcome to the Hopefulist with me, Wendy McClure. This is where we turn those nasty, negative thoughts into positive and work toward a happy, fulfilled life. Now, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hopefulist for your dose of inspiration and positivity. The quote of the day today is, don't feel bad for making decisions that upset other people. You're not responsible for their happiness. You're responsible for yours. There you go. How do you like that? I like that one a lot. Another quote that I've seen recently that I think is so powerful is, your life changes when you realize that people can be mad at you and disagree with you and still love you. I've always been so afraid of people being mad at me. Been like one of the biggest fears of my life. Honestly. Hate when people are mad at me. People that I don't even care about. I mean, people that I don't even like. And I know I'm not the only one that does this, but it's like, I know that Sally at work doesn't like me. And my husband will be like, well, you don't like Sally. That's not the point. Doesn't matter that I don't like Sally. Sally doesn't like me, and I want to know why. Right? How ridiculous is that? It's ridiculous. But we've all done it to a certain extent throughout our lives. So that one quote, that people can be mad at you and disagree with you and still love you, was very powerful for me. I hope it is for you as well. The good news, a silver medalist from this year's Summer Olympics in Japan. She won for the javelin. She has offered up her medal for auction to raise money for an 8-month-old boy in Poland who needs heart surgery. How awesome is that? I mean, you know, these athletes train their whole lives. Well, maybe not javelin. I don't know. But, you know, this is like the biggest thing in their lives, is to go to the Olympics and to win a medal and then to offer to have it auctioned off for something so amazing. Well, this selfless act of Maria Andrzejczyk was rewarded when the person who won the auction gave the medal back to her. Happy ending there. Isn't that nice? I'm so glad that she offered the medal. They were able to raise the remaining amount of money they needed to get the surgery for the young 8-month-old boy, baby infant. And then she got her medal back. So sometimes we get rewarded for our kindness. Sometimes we don't. In some instances, she may not have gotten the medal back. And I'm sure she didn't expect to get the medal back. So it was a bonus. You do it for the love. You do it for kindness. And you don't expect things in return. So be grateful when you do get something in return. But that's not why we're supposed to be doing it. Moving on to the topic of the day. Have you ever noticed that we seem to care about others' comfort more than our own? It's really true. We tiptoe around other people, being very aware of what upsets them. And yet, when someone is doing something that upsets us, we don't speak up because we don't want to be that person. You know, the one who complains about everything. Meanwhile, we're doing what we can to make sure everyone else is comfortable except for ourselves. Doesn't it sound silly when it's kind of put out in that way? Yeah, we do it all the time. It goes from the ridiculously simple to things that impact our daily lives. If you have a pet, you know how often you sit in an uncomfortable position because the pet or your kid or grandkid is on top of you and you don't want to disturb them. I do it too. It's okay because we love them and we want them to be calm, comfortable, and happy. But then there are other times that I need to spread out on my couch and she needs to move it. Then there are other times that it seems hard to speak up, just to avoid any type of annoyance. For example, when I was playing pickleball recently, the girl on the opposite team kept throwing the ball back at me, but she threw it at my feet. And finally, I asked her if she would mind tossing the ball to me so I can catch it in the air, because bending over constantly, which you do a lot in pickleball, it hurts my back. So I thought, if I don't have to bend over for this ball, that would be easier on my back, so then I don't have to do it as much. Like I said, just trying to avoid as much back trouble as possible, because yes, there is a lot of bending over. But she did seem annoyed that I asked. But she did indeed start tossing it to me instead of throwing it at my feet. She did make a comment or two, whatever. There was another time when someone kept serving to me before I was ready and in position. Like, I'd literally be walking to the back of the court and I'd turn around and the ball be coming at me. And I'd be like, okay, can you just make sure that I'm ready before you serve? It's actually been an issue a couple of times, which seems so strange to me. I mean, I would think that it wouldn't need to be pointed out that you should wait for the opposing player to actually be ready for the serve. And I've been met with snarky remarks about if I'm actually ready. Are you ready now? Now, these reactions are the reason we don't speak up. But honestly, is asking for these small things, does that make you a bad person? Is it that much trouble for the people you are with to switch up if it's going to actually help you and make you more comfortable? Really? We worry so much about what other people think of us. We're willing to be uncomfortable to the point of pain sometimes. And we often go far out of our way to avoid inconveniencing others. I've been wanting to ask my neighbors if I can use their large washer for a comforter I need to be cleaned. I just hesitate to ask for some reason. I am positive they won't mind at all. But I've considered going to the laundromat in order to avoid asking them. I know I wouldn't mind doing that for my neighbors if they asked. So why do I think it's such a big deal to ask them? Is this just me that goes through this? Am I all alone in the crazy? Very possible. There are other times that I'm afraid to speak up when getting my nails done. I've gotten to the point that I'm afraid to ask for what I want because I've gotten so much resistance. I used to ask them to skip cutting my cuticles because that is typically how you can pick up some sort of fungus. For some reason, the people that do my nails do not like skipping this step. When I ask them not to do it, I get told, just a little bit, or they really need it. Honestly, I've had so many issues with this, I've literally stopped asking. I don't understand why they hate skipping a step. But it's silly for me to be afraid to ask them because they're my toes and fingers, and I'm paying for the service. Aren't I entitled to have it done the way I want without backtalk? We need to stop tiptoeing through life and start asking for what we want. If you want to request something and are afraid, just ask yourself, does this seem unreasonable? Is this request unreasonable? If somebody asked this of me, would I get annoyed? Because most of the time it's not. It's not unreasonable. Then you can move forward knowing you are entitled to ask for this request. And if someone has an issue with it, then that's on them. That's on them. First of all, I shouldn't have to be subjected to snarky remarks when I simply ask somebody to toss me the ball rather than throw it at my feet. I shouldn't have to worry about getting smart remarks. But when I do, that's honestly a reflection on them, not on me. I just simply asked them to change something up that's so simple. I don't know why it should be met with any kind of obnoxiousness or arrogance or annoyance. So, there you go. Stop tiptoeing around everyone else and start taking care of yourself. I insist on it. I urge you to do this. And if you like today's episode, please leave me a review. Share it with your friends. I will be most grateful. And I will even write it down in my gratitude journal. How special is it that you may be included in my gratitude journal? And coming soon, very exciting stuff, the Love Yourself Challenge. Yes, you can learn to love yourself. Yes, you can. I know, because I did it. And I was my number one enemy for the longest time. So stay tuned for more details about that. They are coming up. Now go be badass. I'm right here cheering you on. Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist. Now, don't you feel good? Make sure you come back next week. See you then.